Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Zoe Viana. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. Today we're going to be doing a DIY on how to make these beautiful monster can decorations. So let's get into the video. So the materials that you'll need are cans. You can use monster cans, Arizona cans, any type, anything you want. And I'm just using the monster ones because I have a bunch of these laying around. A pair of scissors. I use good quality kitchen ones because they're sharper. A Sharpie because it shows up best when you're drawing out the stencils. And then these stencils that I made out of paper and cardboard. I definitely recommend the cardboard ones because they're more sturdy, but paper works just as well. And I just pulled up a Google document and traced out whatever shape butterflies I want. I have a couple different ones here. So you don't have to do just butterflies, but whatever shapes you want, anything, hearts, flowers, whatever. The next thing you'll need is a knife. You can use a kitchen knife like I have, an X-Acto knife, anything, box cutter, whatever. So first I'm going to start off by cutting the top, and I'm going to cut just on the edge where it goes, like, I don't really know, like at an angle to go to the drinking part. If you go too high to the top, it's going to be really hard to push the knife through, so I go just a little bit below that, right by the nutrition facts, and cut the whole top off. You can obviously save them if you have another idea of a project that you want to use, but I have yet to find anything that I can use them for, so I just toss them out after. But if you want to be creative with it, find another project to do. So now I'm going to cut the bottom part off, and I do it right by the barcode, right before the silver part. Again, same thing, if you get too close to the edge, it's going to be really hard to get the knife to go through, so I just do it a little bit lower than that. And towards the end, if there's parts that you can't cut off, you can use the scissors. That's why I recommended good scissors, because they'll go through the metal really well, as the knife was just kind of ripping it, whereas the scissors just cut it nicely, and they work really well. So there's those two pieces, and again, save them, toss them, whatever you want. And back to the original can now. So for this, I like to use as much as I can, and I will cut a line between the two barcodes. So where the barcode is and where the nutrition facts are, that strip right in the middle there, that's where I like to cut it, to save as much of the logos and designs on them as possible. If you prefer your butterfly to have the back of the can instead, then you can cut it wherever you want. I just don't like cutting right in the middle of the logo. So as you can see, this is it all laid out, and it will still go back up into that can shape because that's the way that it's been for so long. So with the stencil now, I just pick whatever one I'd like. I usually start with a big butterfly first to use most of my surface area, and in this case, I'm going to place it towards the middle because I want the monster logo to actually be on the wing. But usually I would put it in a place that makes sure that I'm using just the amount of space that I need, and then leaving as much possible space to create more butterflies. Smaller ones, different sized ones, keeping the scraps, and just trying to use as much of this can as possible to make as many butterflies as possible. So this part is a little weird on the camera, and I'm sorry. I look like I have no idea what I'm doing. I look like I've never traced a stencil in my entire life. But this is what it is behind the scenes of my video when I am the director and the camera woman and the artist and the everything all at once. This is kind of what you get. So I'm drawing all over the place, and I'm having a lot of trouble here. I'm also working on my bed because this is where the lighting was the best. So obviously if you're working on a counter or just a hard surface, it'll definitely be a lot smoother and a lot easier, and you won't mess up 1,000 times like I do. The stencil doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. In this case, you can cut over the line if you don't want the blue to show, or however you want. So it doesn't really have to be exact. As you can see, I just kind of freehand it there, and the stencil is definitely not perfect, but that's all I really need from it. So there it is, all nice, drawn out, and ready for me to cut it. So the first thing I usually do is I cut off the extra that I don't need that's not part of the butterfly, trying to keep as close to that line as possible so that I, again, have scraps that I can create into other things. But I cut that off just to keep the bare minimum of metal that I need because it is really sharp. If you see the corner there, it is very pointy and you really have to be careful not to cut yourself with this. Luckily I haven't, but I've definitely come close to it. So doing this, cutting off the extra, just leaves the bare minimum of what you need and really helps focus on just the butterfly. And it also gives you more stability of the metal to hold in order to cut around the edges. I'm very close to these edges, but you can go over if you want. Again, if you don't like the blue on it and you would rather it not be there, then cut on the inside of the blue line. It'll still give you the butterfly shape, it'll just be a little bit smaller, and the outline and the stencil won't be there. In this case, I am just hot gluing these to my wall, so it doesn't matter what the back looks like. But if you wanted to make like wind chimes or something like that, which I personally think would be adorable, then in that case, I would definitely recommend making two of the same shape butterfly with two different logos maybe, or the same logo on each side, so you don't have that ugly silver side sticking out. But if you like that, again, it's entirely up to you. Just in this case, it doesn't matter for me. So throw those scraps aside, and here is what we have. And as you can see, I really like it. I like the simple, the original can, the neon green and black. As you can see, when you put it down, it folds right back into that original shape, and obviously that doesn't look anything like a butterfly. So what I do is I take my scissors and I close them, and I put them on the very edge between where the body is and where the wing starts. I put them right on there, and then I fold the wing completely over the scissors, completely in half, to create that 3D effect. And I do the same thing on the other side, and this just kind of makes it pop more and has more than just one layer flat design. As you can see, the body is now separate from the wings, and you can tell that it's different. And I still didn't like the way the wings curved inwards, so if you pull them to the top, like I'm doing in this video, just move them around a little bit, work with it a little, then you will see that it creates it to look even better. So as you can see now, it's a bit more shaped, and you can actually see what it is, and it doesn't fold back to that original can shape, which is why I really like working with the metal, because it's very easy to put it into whatever shape you want. Then next, I take my scrap metal that I have left, and I'm going to make another butterfly. As you can see, this stencil has been very used, and it's almost falling apart. That's why I recommend using cardboard. When I made these stencils first, I didn't have any other cardboard, so I had to use paper. But over time, after tracing it multiple times, and it might get pulled on, it starts to fall apart and just disintegrate like that one wing is here. So I really have to hold it, and it's just harder to work with. But we made it work. So as you can see, this stencil kind of completely got messed up because that wing was just not holding on. It really looks like a messed up starfish, if that. Maybe a moth, maybe a flower, we don't know. So same thing here, I cut it out, and in this case, because it was already unsymmetrical to begin with, I'm not too specific with the lines. Of course, I stay close to them, but if it's not exactly on point, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, I'm going to shape it and cut it and make it look different anyway. That the lines were just really a rough draft to work off of. So as you can see, this butterfly is not even whatsoever, so I go back in with the scissors and I just cut off excess pieces until I feel like it looks symmetrical and until it looks the way that I want it to. So from there, since this is a smaller butterfly, it doesn't really have a body, so I just take my scissors and I put it right in between and I bend the whole thing in half, kind of like a taco, and that is about the 3D effect that I have. And you can of course do adjustments to the wings if you want as well to really create that effect, but it's entirely up to you. Here's the end result. This is the one that I have just made, and here's the smaller baby one, and I have made a lot more than that, as you can see. I do love these. I think they're really simple, but they're really easy crafts to make, but they add so much, and in the sun they reflect so beautifully. And this is one of my favorite crafts. So every single time my friends have a monster can, I'm like, can I have it? Because I'm going to turn it into butterflies. Don't mind the way that I look, probably like a crazy person right now. I'm currently editing and I forgot to film this part, so here it is now. There's also a thunderstorm outside, so it's really, really loud. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Like the video, comment if there's any other art things you want me to try. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff, especially when October comes up. Halloween decorations is my thing, so there will definitely be more art-related stuff on this channel if you're interested in that. So thank you so much if you stayed this long, and I hope you enjoyed. And that's it for now. Bye!